Okay, so we'll begin today by introduction of who I am. Hiwus, Jim Squish, Kalpalin, Tim Stotola. And when I say Hiwus, it means I am a hereditary chief from Kalpalin, which is in this area here. Or if we go to this map, our people governed this area here, which is all of the Salish Sea, really. And in the entrance to Jarvis Inlet. So this is where my people lived, and the people were called Hiwus. Hiwus is the name of the people that occupied and ruled over this land for thousands of years. And my name means boss and or house speaker. In the colonized term, they call me a chief, but that's the colonized term. There's no word in our language for that.
Okay.
When my name comes up, Hiwus, it means they automatically know that I am a house speaker in the big house. And when they announce that and I get up and I talk, I generally get up with a talking stick and I have the whole floor until my presentation is finished. No one interrupts you. That's the way of our culture, and it's one of respect. So my hereditation goes back more than 7 generations, and I can name all the chiefs that go back 7 generations, and then they become nameless.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the only recording that we have, and my family and most of the people in our village know and understand that. They know who I am, and I have that ultimate respect from both the family and from the rest of the tribe. So I retired in 2017 as an elected chief.
Okay.
But I still carry my hereditation, which will live with me until I pass away, and then my son or my grandson will take over that responsibility, and then they will become the speaker for the family. So that's what that means. Now, when I speak about family, I'll go to this map here because it tells you a story of how we governed ourselves. Each family had a responsibility in that governance. But I want to bring you up to Hereditary, which is way up here. And you can see the spelling. And you pronounce that Hereditary. So in this region, it's the Wolf clan. And this is where our people originated from. So there is a legend of our people from being dropped from the heavens by the thousands. Thousands and thousands of our people were dropped down to Mother Earth. And geographically, this area is very mountainous. The mountains start at 8,000 feet and drop right into the ocean. So there's very little flat land that our people could camp out on. And they did camp out in this area where they had dozens of longhouses erected real quickly to house our people. Now there's a legend that goes with that story. After our people were dropped to earth by the thousands, we very rapidly ran out of flat land. So the hereditary chiefs and the shaman got together and had a powwow and said, we need to have a plan to go out and find more flat land. So at the end of that session, the chiefs and the shaman got together and said, we need to pick at least 4 braves and send him out down the inlet to find more flat land. So lo and behold, they picked 4 young braves and sent them running down the inlet. They couldn't get very far because of the geographical location of the mountains, that they were so steep, those mountains dropped right into the ocean. So they clawed their way as far as they could, these 4 braves, and they couldn't go any further. So lo and behold, they stopped, turned around, went back to the village, the main village, and reported back to the chiefs and the shaman. And the chiefs looked at the shaman and said, and they looked at the young braves, and the shaman said, "You're going to have to go back and keep trying." So that the young braves turned around and went back up down the inlet, again clawing their way along the mountainsides as far as they could. But the head brave, he almost fell into the ocean. So his toe touched the ocean, and he transformed into a wolf, a black wolf. And the other 3 braves followed suit. They put their toe in the water, and they transformed into wolves. So they were able to go down the inlet a bit further, as far as the body of the wolf could carry them. And then again, they got stopped because they couldn't go any further. So the wolves turned around, came back, transformed into these 4 young braves, and then the braves reported back to the shaman. And again, the chiefs and the shaman said, "You have to find a way." So once again, these young braves went down the inlet, went down as far as they could, and again touched the water with their toes, and they transformed into wolves. The wolves went down further until they couldn't go any farther. And then the wolves stopped and looked at each other and said, "What do we do?" So the head wolf, the head brave, again touched the water with his paw, and the head wolf transformed into an orca, and he slipped into the ocean. The other 3 wolves, the 3 braves, again followed suit, and they transformed into orcas. These 4 orcas swam down the inlet, started to find more flat land, and one by one they sent an orca back to the main village to report that they're finding a way. So the chiefs and the shamans started to gather the people, found canoes, and started to send the canoes down the inlet filled with people. And then the orcas kept going until they came down to these different regions. And finally they came down into what we call the Sechelt region. And all of this was flat land. It was like a Garden of Eden. The inlets in here were full of herring, full of crab and salmon, shrimp, and a lot of rich land they could plant. There was a lot of vegetation that was natural in the land. So our people in their language called it the Garden of Eden. And still today, that area is called Garden Bay in Penner Harbor. And so thousands of people moved down the inlet and started to take and build longhouses all the way down in this area. But the main tribe was the Hiwus people, who governed all of the Salish Sea, from Malaspina Channel right down to Howe Sound, where our cousins, the Squamish, lived. So that's basically is a story of how we originated. And when the 4 young braves went back, one would stop here, and he became the spokesman for the Alaitsonai people, which was the Grizzly Bear clan. So they formed a clan. So after they became wolves from Khanichin, they came down, one stayed there, and he became a Grizzly Bear clan. And this one became the Mountain Goat clan. this one became the Frog Clan. And that's what this means, Tawonk. Tawonk means they belong to the Frog Clan. And these Tawonk people, very powerful medicine people, very powerful shaman. So this shaman and the shaman from Sonai, very powerful. Spiritually, magically, whatever you want to call it, they were able to bring dead people back to life. They were able to cure people. And there's another legend that goes with that. And if you want to hear that later, I'll tell you that story.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
So the main tribes, 4 main families are here drawn on this map and then the regions. And the boundaries go way beyond that. Like to the east, we're part of the Squamish territory that goes into the Squamish Valley and the Iloho Valley, way beyond. So we're related to the Squamish, and then to the northwest, we're related to the Tla'amin people. The trails beyond this boundary go right into the Tla'amin where our cousins live, and we're all related. But not only are we related from here to Pemberton, we're related across the Salish Sea, also to the Cowichan, to the Naimoch, to the Nanus, to the Puntlatch. We are related to them. So this whole region is vast in terms of where our people occupied the Salish Sea. They hunted, they fished, and then when they went back into the country, they hunted the goat, the grizzly bear, the elk, and because they did that, these were the hunters. The grizzly bear clan and the wolf clan were the hunters, and they shared what they had with the people in the Hiwus. The Hiwus were harpooning whales. They were taking in giant salmon, and they shared those resources here. So there was a sharing going on, and that created, the family created a way of surviving together by working together as a government. Each of them had a responsibility. When these hunters wanted to canoe, they went to this village here. And the people that lived in that village, they built the canoes, giant canoes, that they gifted to the hunters. And then they traded for the game. The bear, the elk was traded for canoes. And then for the Tawonk people, they were the medicine people. They had all the medicines, the herbs that kept their people healthy. And similar to the Hiwus, medicines, food, hunting, and they all shared not only in the resources, but they shared in the authority of the land. The carrying of the land and the resources was recognized as, without that, they would not survive. Without the salmon, they would not survive. They knew that. So, to feed thousands of people, there was an economy that was controlled by the chiefs. You're not to take more than what your family needed, in other words, so that the resources would replenish themselves naturally and keep providing for our people, providing medicines and food and spirituality.